Playoff racing here tonight at Road America with the Underdog Racing League. It's going to be beautiful left and right turns around this 4-mile road course. What a night we have in store for you here tonight at the Underdog Racing League. But as always, we want to give a special shout out to the sponsors who help make it happen here at the Underdog Racing League, and that is their main sponsor of Ultimate Siding and Gutter LLC. Our customers say we're the best in the business. We specialize in residential and commercial construction and have been in business for over 15 years and use only the best materials. There's nothing more important to have a house to call a home. Make sure you go and check out Ultimate Siding and Gutter LLC, as they are the primary sponsor here at the Underdog Racing League. As tonight, like I said, playoff racing and playoff implications as we're here at Road America. I'm Zach Hall up in the booth. Joined alongside me, we're going to have Carl Pooler, and as always, our producer, Robert Moyer Jr., giving us all the sights and sounds here from Wisconsin as we look high above the racetrack. Tonight is a important night to gain some points, Carl, in a very different racetrack from what we usually go to. You know, mostly ovals. Here we are tonight, turning right and left on the road course.
And, you know, that's all we need is adding another turn and, you know, extra miles, right? Huge course, really high-speed sections, some really technical sections. These drivers are going to be really tested tonight. And like you said, playoff points are going to be extremely, extremely valuable. Hopefully these drivers can stay on the track and get those points when they can.
It's going to be fun to watch. 25 laps here around this 4-mile, 14-turn road course here at Road America, one of the most famous road courses in all of the United States, and I gotta say, one of my favorite tracks out there. As we're seeing drivers right now starting to take their first few laps of qualifying, this is going to be a critical phase here, because tonight you have to qualify up front if you want to be able to have a track position early in the going, and that helps so much. Of course, you see mistakes being made for the 15 there as he slides coming out of turn 2 and is going to lose the rear, and he's going to have to restart that lap there from the number 15 machine of John Magner. So unfortunate luck for him there. But I tell you what, here tonight, it's going to be fun to watch. We only have one stage here too tonight, Carl. So here at lap 10, you know, instead of our 2 stages like we normally do, so less points available here tonight. But that one stage is going to be very critical.
And that's going to be massive for strategy as well. You have some of these drivers, like we're watching Jason Fensler here start his qualifying run, but you know, this is a 4-mile track, 10 laps in the first stage. This could end up being like a Pocono. We saw some people undercut the caution there, and instead of getting the points, go for the race win. And you know, some people are more desperate than others. It's going to be interesting to see how they race this track.
It definitely will be. Also a 65% fuel load here tonight. That is going to definitely be a interesting situation for the drivers. I'm you know, such a long racetrack. I mean, that is a you know, 10 laps around is 40 miles. So will they be able to do that many laps on a tank of fuel here. We'll have to see, or will they have to decide to get down to pit road at some point? Definitely, possibly in that second portion of the race. We're watching Jason Finsler put down a lap. A little sideways there from him in the kink as he heads down here to Canada corner, one of the hardest braking zones of this track, as he's going to try to put down a very good lap to put him at the top of times. As right now, Christopher Heights is our top qualifier at a 2:16.87. Is a great time for him, 2/10 faster than Justice Murphy.
And like you said, this is so important, this qualifying laps and getting that fast run, because we know turn one is always chaos. You know, it's a really hard right-hander. Again, we're not used to going right, and there's not a lot of room on this track. It is a very long track, not a very wide track. So turn one is going to be super critical on that green flag run.
And there it is. Look at these first few times from some of our top guys in practice. Trevor Earhart was our fastest man in the practice session. He looks like he's going to have to pick it up here on lap number 2 if he wants to have a shot at Jason Finsler, who right now goes to the top of the board with a 2:15.63. Not the fastest lap we've seen all day here, as Earhart had that in practice. We'll see if he can pick up on the second lap. I think he had a major mistake as we watch Kevin Orlando Jr. right now, 3rd or 11th on the board for him, actually at a 2:20. So he's going to have to pick up the time here, as he's one of our playoff drivers looking to move himself up that leaderboard.
And definitely keep an eye on those pink spoilers and the pink name banners on the windshield. Those playoff drivers are going to be really pushing their way, trying to get through this track. I know some of these drivers are looking at this as an opportunity, but, you know, what about the non-playoff drivers, Zach? They want to win too, and they're racing amongst all these drivers. Do you think they're going to race any different, or is it just business as always?
You know, I would like to think it's just business as always. You know, you come out here, race your own race. As long as you're not getting into them or, you know, affecting the playoff battle too much, then you know, why not go out there and race just your own race here? And this is a great place to race your own race, you know, because you get into a pace. And a lot of times at road courses, you fall into almost a safe zone where there's really nobody around you or nobody behind you. So you kind of get to a point where you can just kind of make laps, and hopefully your pace settles out to a good finish. And we're seeing a few guys from the non-playoff territory have some good runs so far in qualifying. That's our Jacob Sekovic right now, 5th in the qualifying times. Ooh, as I can say, Trevor Earhart right here, his second lap is done as he's had a mistake. Same with Kevin Orlando Jr. there. You've seen it on our screens. As now we look at Peyton Presley, but another driver, Grant Thorpe, in the 77 machine. He's right there in 6th. Alan Bargainquist in 8th. Peyton Presley, his first lap as we're watching him, was 9th. So some playoff guys right now in our top 10, as a few of our playoff guys are kind of struggling right now so far. As I'm looking at Dylan Walterman and Kevin Orlando Jr. along with Ray Lane right now at the tail of that qualifying order.
So if you start at the back, you don't have to, you can kind of ease up on turn one, but then you have to make all those passes. It's going to be really difficult for those guys in the back, especially the playoff drivers. You need points. You need to continue on in the playoffs. You need to get to that final run. Starting in the back is not the way to do it.
That it will not work for sure, as they're going to be looking to try to get those stage points. You want to get to that top 10 if you want the points. Here comes Presley across the line for his second time. Looks like he will stay on the board in the 9th position at the moment, as Jason Finsler still having a strong hold on the top of the leaderboard. We got 2 minutes left here in qualifying for anybody to be able to put down their lap times. Right now, one of the drivers who really had a mistake, it seems like, on their lap is James Loveland, who was our winner from last week to open up the playoffs. What was crazy, even looking back at last week, Jason Finsler, you know, he enters the playoffs last week 18 points ahead of James Loveland. But then after our race last week at Michigan, he lost 2 points actually to Jason Finsler, even though Finsler finishes outside the top 10. It was them stage points that come back to bite James Loveland. It was 20 bonus points in Jason Finsler's hands, while it was only, I believe, 3 bonus points in James Loveland's, and it ended up actually coming out where Jason Finsler grew his lead, even though he did not have the finish he desired. So, man, it could have been a much worse scenario if Jason Finsler could have made it on fuel for these guys, but I tell you what, it's got to be kind of demoralizing when the points leader gains a gap, even though he finishes almost 10 positions behind you.
And guaranteed that's on Loveland's mind as he sits there in 13th, it looks like, with a 227. He had to have a mistake somewhere, but that's definitely not a good look for him. He wants those stage points to get in the top 10, and like you said, points are king. You need those points. Jason Finsler, he had a great cushion. He didn't take that for granted. He got a little risky on the strategy last week, but like you said, those stage points he earned early in the race really gave him a little extra cushion. So I think that's on James Loveland's mind as he needs to get towards the front in this first stage.
Watching Justin Stunnard here complete his qualifying lap in the 33 machine. Right now, he's sitting 17th on the board without a time put down, and he's got about less than 20 seconds to get to the line here. I don't know if he's going to get to the line in time, personally. As thinking about it, he crossed the line earlier with less than really about 2 minutes and 10 seconds when he crossed the line last time. Definitely going to not get there, as now the timer clicks away. There's the end of qualifying session, and Justin Sterner will not put his lap in, as that's going to bring an end to our qualifying session here tonight at Road America. What a grid we got so far, as Jason Finzel looks like he's going to bring home that pole position. Our points leader in the playoffs, trying to go back-to-back with the championships here in the playoffs. As you can see, our starting results is Jason Finzel, like I said, in the 5 machine up front. Followed behind him as the fastest man in practice, Trevor Earhart, one of the best road course racers here at the Underdog Racing League. Third is going to go to Christopher Heights. What a run for him after entering the points here tonight. Almost dead last in points. Or dead last in the playoff standings. He's going to come in here third on your grid. Fourth is going to be Justice Murphy. His fifth is going to go to Jacob Sikrovich. Sixth is going to go to Alan Bargainquest. Seventh is going to be Grant Thrope. Eighth is going to go to Peyton Presley. Ninth is going to be Nick Alves. 10th is going to go to Ray Lane. 11th place is going to go to Kevin Orlando Jr. 12th is going to be Dylan Walterman. 13th, James Lovell, in a tough qualifying position for him there. John Magner going to start 14th. 15th is going to be Scott Kerberg, another playoff driver there. Matt Job starting 16th. 17th going to go to Justin Stern. And rounding out your field in the 18th position is Parker Johnston, starting from the back, not taking a time here at the Underdog Racing League. As that's our starting grid here tonight. We got 18 cars here tonight, Carl, ready to get them started here before we get ready to take this green flag. This is going to be a wild race with wild playoff implications.
Definitely. And turn one, I mentioned before, is going to be critical. They're all bunched up, 18 cars, all trying to funnel in, get the inside lane on turn one going right. Turn two isn't much easier. They typically try to kind of funnel their way in single file after that. But like I said, after the front stretch and after turn 2 and 3, there's a huge run going into turn 5. And I think that's going to be another critical spot where these drivers can maybe edge forward, maybe get that inside run and get that position on the driver ahead of them.
And turn 1 will be fun to watch as we're waiting for everybody to pull off the grid here tonight. It's, a very interesting scenario. For someone like Jason Finzel here, 20-point lead here tonight. He's got a strong hold with the pace he has here too. But like you said, Carl, turn 1 could be calamity. And if something happens here early, he's got to watch out. He can give up a lot of points in a hurry, as there they are. They're going to be rolling away from the short straightaway here before the penultimate corner of the night, as the pace car is going to pull itself the long way down to pit road. And Barney's going to stand atop his flag stand. You can see the car is at the bottom of the hill there, exiting the final corner. The pace car is into pit road. We're just waiting on Jason Finzel, Trevor Earhart to lead us down here to the green flag to kick off playoff race number 2 here at the Underdog Race League. Green flag is in the air. Barney waves it away as there they cross the line. Dead even heat between the top 2 as Earhart and Finzel storm down to turn 1.
And as they go into turn 1, Earhart on the outside, on the left side of Finzel, but he decides to dive behind him as they start going single file, coming out of one. Oh, as we get a little sideways, got to be careful with that grass. Once you get in there, it is no turning back. It is very hard to save the car after that.
One of the toughest corners down there, down to turn 2, downhill into that corner. Very tough to get down into it as everybody survives the first 2 corners here at Road America, down to the downhill hairpin corner, 90-degree left-hander here at Road America, turn 3, one of the hardest braking zones. Here comes the moves from Trevor Earhart. He looks to the inside, going to give it up there as Heights holds on to third. Murphy, though, looking all over the back deck leg of that 21.
And they're all these drivers are trying to get that inside line. That's the easiest way around. This quickest way around, of course. And as we watch Trevor Earhart and Jason Finzel go into this corner here, it looks like they're laying out a little bit and starting to pace themselves out. But those first 4 drivers are all playoff drivers, are all looking for points to end the stage with. So it's going to be interesting to see how much patience they have. Like you said earlier, they tend to string out, but it'll be interesting who has the pace as the 44. Ray Lane goes around. Looks like he's letting all these guys by before. It doesn't look like Cutchin's coming out. So interesting. Another playoff driver having issues already in this race.
Yeah, a simple mistake from the 44 Ray Lane there. He just wheel hop, caught the grass under the braking zone down there, and that is one of the toughest things. Is I think our oh no, sorry. Actually, Jason Finsler, he is wrecked off of the carousel. Had a big mistake here coming out of the carousel there, and just looped it and lost the rear end. Hard collision with the inside wall. Jason Finsler, though, and Justice Third wrecks in the kink too. We're having major incidents here happen on lap 1 with our points leader. This could shake up the whole night.
And there it is, first lap, 2 playoff drivers with issues. Jason Finsler looks like going off the track into the wall again. Oh, our points leader definitely having some issues out on track today. This is looking rough for Jason Finsler. He's looking like he's getting out of the sandpit there, but this is really huge for everyone seeing Jason Finsler struggle already in this race.
What a turn of events here. Jason Finsler in the opening lap, going from starting on pole position now to dead last in this field. He is going to have to probably bring that Toyota Supra down the pit road. That front end destroyed, no hood on the front of that car. We'll see if he elects to come down. Yes, Justin Stunnard and Jason Finsler are all going to come down the pit road. This is going to be a fast repair used, and it's going to be no stage points for him most likely here tonight. It's going to have to be a recovery drive from our points leader.
And then looking back, you know, here we are, Trevor Earhart. He's in first, right behind him, Christopher Heights, but non-playoff drivers, Bargenquist and Justice Murphy, also looking to make their name out here, maybe get a win, get some strategy. But Jason Finsler already with issues. Some people looking to capitalize on that.
And what a sight to see this is. Earhart out front in the 25 machine. Christopher Heights in second place, and Heights is not letting Earhart get too far away. You know, if you're Earhart here, you know, he knew his main competition tonight would be beating that number 5 machine. Now I think the big thing in his mind is just keeping it out front nice and clean here. Pace yourself, don't go too hard, no mistakes here. But I tell you what, Christopher Heights, though, with that 21 in that blue car looming in his mirror, that's where mistakes usually tend to show up, is when you have a little bit of pressure.
And that's definitely 2 ways you can look at it as a driver, especially here in the back. I guess the number 2 spot is right along with Heights, is you can either push your car hard, push the leader hard, you know, see if he can't make a mistake, or you can just sit back, get into a groove, and see if the guy in front of you just makes a mistake on his own. As we saw, of course, Jason Finsler do sign in the wall. So definitely interesting ways to race the track and race the driver in front of you.
As we ride on board, you can see the beautiful layout of this course, so tight and twisty in certain bits. Then you have the long straightaways to where you have to really put the power down to carry the momentum and set up your passes. Gotta say, one of my favorite courses to see ran. But man, you can see even the elevation changes. It's really the character around this 4-mile course that adds to the beauty of it. And I tell you what, looking now, Jason Finsler, I can tell y'all that he has came out of pit road and got his car going, but he is upwards of a couple minutes back, I believe around a minute 24 seconds behind our leader, Trevor Earhart. The biggest thing is he's not to survive till the end of this stage here on lap number 10. We'll see what he can do from there, but most likely not going to have any chance to get stage points, is that 10th place position held by Matt Jobe at the moment, about a minute ahead of Jason Finsler.
And as we're riding with Parker Johnson there, and there's Jason Finsler to see him make that pass. But, you know, of course, he's not thinking of stage points now. He's kind of out of it. But now he's going to start. He may make some passes on some of these cars, but he's going to start in the back on this next restart at the end of the stage. And that's a huge place to either be aggressive and make passes, but it's also a really good place to make those mistakes. And I think this is going to be interesting watching Jason move forward.
And we've already seen mistakes from him already to open this race, so we'll have to see his old Parker Johnson there. Big lockup down into 3. Such an easy place to lock up. Is even that braking zone, it's downhill, so you're not able to, you know, the gravity is fighting you there from wanting you to slow down. A lot of, actually, this track really has a lot of those downhill braking zones. You even see guys messing up into this downhill braking zone. This is Alves locking up that inside left front tire. And a lot of people making mistakes, but like I said, turn 3 there, downhill and turning left a little bit as you brake. Whenever you have to turn the wheel of these race cars while you're hitting the brake, that inside tire that has less load on it is always going to want to lock up. And that's one thing that's so tough to do. When that tire locks up, you lose all of your braking power.
And that is so important. Brake bias is going to be huge too. If you have too much rear brake, you're going to lock up and wheel hop going into the corner, spin out. If you have too much front brake, you're going to lock up, like you said, that inside front wheel, and you're just going to get sent into the corner. As we see James Loveland make a pass on Nick Alves. Woo. And Nick Alves looked like he had a little smoke coming out of there, but Kevin Orlando making the pass on Loveland. But that's going to be huge. Brake bias and the way these drivers break through these corners is going to be massive for the rest of this race.
Alves shoved back from 5th to 8th. A little bit of a hip check there from the 56 of James Loveland, who's now up to 5th. Is Loveland terrible qualifying for him, but he's been able to put together a few good laps here to start the race, get himself up into the top 5. He's now going to set his sights on the number 17 Alan Parkenquist, who's having really the best run of his season here tonight at Road America so far. As Orlando Jr. going to take a look on the 56 here down into 1, but the 56 going to outbreak that 27. Is big mistake from Orlando Jr. That's going to set him up for a slow run here. Maybe Presley going to have some type of chance, but it looks like the 27 gets it back rolling.
And this track we keep mentioning, 4 miles long, 14 corners, so many spots to make up time, so many spots to lose time. Christopher Heights now with a 2.6 gap from the lead of Earhart. Justice Murphy behind him, almost 7 seconds, so they're all spacing out. Barkenquist had an issue. He was up in 3rd. He was doing a good run about 6-7 seconds back, but now he's almost 14 seconds. So everyone making mistakes. Trevor Earhart looks like he's having one of the cleaner runs next to Christopher Heights, but all our drivers having an issue taming this track.
Yeah, this track is just so difficult, and just so many races I ran here that it's so hard to not make a mistake. This is an old school racetrack. You look at a lot of the newer road courses here, and they're being developed, and you see a lot of runoff areas. And what I mean by that is paved areas where you can exit kind of out of the corner and still be safe even if you make a mistake. You make a mistake here at Road America, there's grass, there's gravel, there's dirt, there's all types of different scenarios playing out, exit curbs that'll really upset the car, and it punishes you for not being smooth and not hitting your marks. Any little mistake, especially down to this corner here as we ride on board with the Orlando Jr. If you dip a tire off here into that dirt or that grass, the car gets so upset, and it's so tough not to wreck there in that high-speed zone. And there's walls on both sides of the track, so easy to damage your car, just like our points leader Jason Finzer did.
Unforgiving, Zach. That's the word I have for it. As Kevin Orlando gets a little loose getting off there. See, you hit that curb just a little too much and sent that car a little bit around as Peyton Presley has the sights on him. But it's very unforgiving, and like you said, 0 runoff. So there's 0 room for mistakes. Here we are with Grant Thorpe, but it's very difficult and very tiring, especially over 14 turns, to keep that car in between the lines.
Yeah, it just takes complete focus from these drivers with 21 to go here so far already in these opening laps. 4 laps into the books. Trevor Earhart holding on to a 3.8 second gap back to Christopher Heights, who, has done a great job to solidify that second place position. But I tell you what, that last time by, Justice Murphy was matching lap times with our leader, and even James Loveland not too far behind the lap times of our leader either. So those 3 cars right now putting down some of the best times on the racetrack. And I can say Jason Finzer back in 16th, a minute 25 back from our leader. He is actually putting down some pretty quick times too, around the same pace. But also seen some mistakes from him with just a few lockups, so hopefully he can clean that up. But Sekrovich here in the 3, he's going to go by the 11 of Presley, who had a major incident there, and his front hood is gone. I believe he wrecked out of turn 1.
And that just goes to prove he was having a good run. He might have pushed a little too hard, had an issue as we ride along with Dylan Walterman. Looks like he has a little bit of damage. Another playoff driver just trying to make his way around this track. And a lot of these drivers having issues. A lot of our playoff drivers, really interesting. And then you have Justice Murphy rolling 3rd, and Alan Barkenquist. Non-playoff drivers doing really good, holding on to their own.
Yeah, a lot of guys out here struggling, trying to keep it on the racetrack. There's watching John Magner. He's out here back here in the 14th position where he started, but right now just trying to survive and make it around Road America. And I think that's a lot of guys' big goal here tonight. Some guys enter the road courses and say, man, this is a track where I can go out there and get stuff done. And some people enter this track and say, man, this is a track where I just want to make all 25 laps. And I think that's going to be the key here. And that's Personally, that's the way. I mean, if you struggle at road courses, that's the only way to get better is the putting down of laps. If you run more and more laps, you get more and more comfortable around each circuit. And I can tell you what, these guys, by the end of the 25 laps, they'll probably have a better handle on this track than when we drop the green flag.
You'd like to think so, but you know, some of those drivers can guarantee do not like this track no matter when it is. They just want to see the end of it. But you know, I'm wondering, Zach, we were seeing a lot of brake hop and a lot of brake lockup. Will that affect the tires as much on this road course, or will it not? I know there's a lot going on, but every lockup has to damage those tires.
Oh, major damage. That is the number one thing that's going to take your tire wear away. When you see them lock up and that smoke initiate off that inside left front or that right front tire. Whenever that happens, you're taking a couple percent. I'm talking sometimes up to 4 or 5% away of tire wear. If you went there and locked that tire up every single lap, you would have a very, very good shot of actually destroying that tire over a long run. So you got to be careful with that, and it's all about just modulating the brake pedal and trail braking. You know, that's the one thing that I give people a lot of advice that you need to be good at is trail braking is the key. That means when you first step on that brake pedal, that's the highest amount of pressure you're going to have. You're going to have about a 75% brake pressure there, and as you get closer to the corner and start to turn that wheel, that brake pressure is going to relieve down to a lower number. That helps those front tires turn and make a better turning car. As 20 to go here, I've seen Earhart here even have a few mistakes up here. This racetrack, not forgiving. These drivers got to be careful, even if you're out front with that 3-4 second lead like he's got.
And I think it's just the fact of not getting too comfortable. Yeah, you can use that time, maybe ease up, but there is a point where you ease up too much, and that guy starts making 10th and 10th and 10th on you, and then you start over panicking and then over driving, causing even more damage and maybe making bigger mistakes. So I think it's the rhythm. You got to just stay in a rhythm and make sure you hit everything smooth and smooth the whole thing out, and not have that brake lock, and make sure everything is crystal clear to the end of the race.
Riding on board here with Justice Murphy as he rounds through the final 2 corners of this 4-mile circuit here in the 3rd spot. He can see Christopher Heights right there directly ahead of him is that 2nd place position, and then up over the hill there goes our leader of Trevor Earhart as they continue this battle up front. I tell you what, the pace right now between our top 3 very even and very much so very competitive as Earhart has pulled out about a 4-second gap, but he's kind of stabilized there, had a few mistakes that gave up some time, and he's been able to get it back. But Murphy and Heights not letting this guy get away as it looks like Loveland's kind of stalled out behind Bargain Quest also.
And that's interesting because there is some give and take and ebb and flow of the race, but these guys have kind of balanced out, all run roughly the same pace. So later in the run, as the tires wear, how more effective do you think it'll be to run that consistent race rather than setting the fastest lap as fast as you can, as often as you can?
It's always a fine balance. You don't want to give, if you can go out there and get good lap time, you want to get good lap time at a road course. But that does come at a penalty, especially the rear tires. The front tires are something you can manage while going fast. Front tires is really what you manage with the brake pedal, like from the lockups we talked about earlier. The rear tires, though, you can utilize the rear tires a little bit more at the beginning of the run to make that quicker lap time, but you will suffer as the run goes on. It's all about applying the power gradually and making sure you don't get that wheel spin. When the tires are spinning, you're not going forward. You're just breaking traction. And it is taking tire wear away, adding heat, building air pressure, all bad things that you do not want to do at a road course is something that you got to be able to just modulate that throttle. It's all in the right foot, I tell people, and if your right foot can't stay nice and steady, big mistake there from Trevor Earhart in the kink, and that's a mistake right there. You see, he does that a few times, and he doesn't save it. That's a wreck that'll put you out of this race with the walls right there, so got to be careful in that high-speed zone. But yeah, I think it's something we're going to see all night long. Who's managing, who's trying to go fast, who's out there really just pushing the car. They may have mistakes later in the run as that tire wear starts to accumulate.
And as we were seeing Trevor Earhart get a little sideways, you slip in those rear tires, it's going to damage him even further. And like the front tires, the brake lock, if you don't want to do that. So smooth is fast. Fast is smooth. That's the best way we can put it. Driving the car with that right foot instead of really the hands. Of course, you need the hands to turn, but using that throttle probably the most important key of this race. As we saw, Orlando Jr. looks like he had a little bit of lockup there.
Yeah, a little bit of a lock up there from his inside right front tire there down into the right-hander as he's got that number 77 of Grant there directly behind him heading down through the final corner. These guys have all been battling pretty much the whole races. Now Grant's going to try to set him up for a pass here. That's going to be for the 8th position or 7th position, sorry, as Grant's going to have a pretty good run down here. We'll see if he can get up to the inside of the 27. Yes, he will as they cross the start-finish line. Grant going to have a charge down here in the turn 1 under the braking zone, see if he can get the pass done, but it looks like the 27 Orlando Jr. outbreaks him on the outside.
Orlando Jr. looks like he's been struggling. Probably looks like the majority of this race he's been loose, almost all of it. We saw him get a little loose on the qualifying laps, and Grant Thorpe there is just looking to make and take advantage of that. Oh, as he gets to the bumper, nearly takes him out, but decides to check up out of it. But that is huge, and we see, like I said, Orlando Jr. have some issues. Just wondering if he's just hanging onto that car and already running out of tire, but Grant Thorpe maybe saved a little bit more.
Yeah, you know, sliding the rears like that and being very loose like we've seen Orlando Jr. is just going to lead to the struggle continuing more and more. As you can see, he locks up that inside tire and then also slides the car, too, to get it turning. So definitely an overall 4-tire slide there. And, you know, something we always talk about, too, is wheel hop. Wheel hop is a very common syndrome that you get here at these road courses, and what that comes down to is shifting while the revs are too high. If your revs are too high, the wheels are going to be rotating at way too quick when you downshift, and that's going to cause them to hop. And right there, you've seen it rear lock up for the 27. He heads straight off, and Peyton Presley follows him into the dirt and kind of taps him too. So we have 2 cars go off in one corner there, and they get back onto the surface. And you know, as I speak about it, wheel hop happens, and you know, it's so easy to do when you're downshifting from them high revs down to a lower gear. The car revs even higher, so you got to match those revs with your right foot as you downshift, called what we call is a blip on the throttle. You just kind of shove the throttle in as you downshift and then let it back out real quick, and it usually matches the revs pretty well. And you know, it is interesting to talk about these things because these cars have a non-independent rear suspension, so that means across the back end of the car, the suspension from right to left tire is connected. They are fully connected. See, wow, BarnQuest, real big slide. That's something new that's coming to NASCAR next year with the next gen car. We will have independent rear suspensions in these cars. So this rear wheel hop that we talk about and wheel hop in these braking zones will actually be a thing of the past once we get to that car and that style rear suspension. So wheel hop will be a thing that we don't talk about for long, but while we have these cars, we still will.
You know, and it's interesting. We're talking about going right, going left, throttle, braking. Now you're talking shifting, Zach. How much more do these drivers really need to do? They are working their butts off as we're at 17 to go. A couple laps until the stage end as we're riding with James Loveland. He's worked his way up to 4th. As we've seen some of these cars have issues, make mistakes. Trevor Earhart, not flawless, but he has been able to maintain about a 5-second lead in front of Christopher Heights and Justice Murphy there in 3rd. These drivers, I think, are ready for that stage break and looking to take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, they'll definitely be looking for that stage break soon. But, you know, you talk about shifting. I would say they're shifting around this track upwards of 10 to 12 times around this whole circuit, maybe even more. So it's definitely a marathon of shifting, and shifting is actually one of the more critical things, I believe, in road course racing. If you have smooth shifts, it usually ends up being making your driving pretty smooth. So that's a critical component. As you see, we're watching Loveland here. He was able to get past Bargain Quest about 3 laps ago, so he's moved himself from 13th to 4th. He's really been our biggest mover throughout this field, along with Matt Jobe back in the 8th position. So really, really good runs all around for some playoff guys making their way through the field. But Loveland needing this here as he came in tonight 2nd in the points, 20 back. It's going to be a good night so far as he's going to get some stage points. As Jason Finsler back in 14th still, he is upwards of about 50 seconds back from stage points. So it looks like Finsler not going to get that done here at any point. I think, as I talked about him, I think Loveland had a mistake down in the kink as we find him here on our picture slow, and he did major mistake for him in the kink. But I can tell you this much, the car is not too damaged. He just barely got into the inside wall. I think we'll go back here on the replay and see exactly what happens as he comes out of the carousel here. One of the toughest corners is this right-hander. So high speed, so easy, and so unstable as the cars. You see he comes down here, loses the rear a little too hot, offline is the 56. He's going to slide through here, and he's going to get away very lucky here, Carl, with only getting a minor bit of front damage here by just tapping the wall, getting the car turned around.
Well, not only lucky about just barely a tap, but there was no one around him. That could have been so much worse. Oh, as we saw Quest go off-roading around him, a pass is a pass, but that was really lucky that Quest wasn't there, or that could have been way worse for both of those drivers.
Oh, that could have been so bad as Quest. I think we need to give him the pass of the night. He found a new lane of the track there in the crash, and that was a great shot there on the replay. That was a good moment for us. Ooh, actually I think we had a battle for second, and that's over too. As Murphy has been able to slide himself up into that second position here late in the going of the end of this stage. That's a great job by Justice Murphy's. Ooh, they're coming up on the lapper. Justin Stunnard here in the 16th position. Looks like Stunnard does a good job, gets up out the way, lets these two continue their battle. But man, oh man, it looks like Murphy able to keep the pace pretty strong here once this run is continued on.
And that's just, being smooth and being steady. Christopher Heights, he started kind of towards the front, so I think he was trying to maintain and maybe keep pace, and maybe his tires were a little worn. And Justice Murphy didn't start as close up there. I guess Christopher Heights third and Justice Murphy fourth, but it's interesting as, what mistakes has Christopher made to have that loss to Justice Murphy? They were been maintaining about 5 seconds, and now he's almost 6 seconds back, so it makes you wonder. This track, again, unforgiving and not giving an inch to any of these drivers.
Yeah, right now, I tell you, Murphy really flying, really bringing the lap time down compared to our leader, Trevor Earhart, who, this is another interesting thing. Jason Finsler, he is on pit road, and he's actually just pulling off pit road as our leader, Earhart, is just crossing the start-finish line, so Finsler going to stay on the lead lap. He's going to pit one lap early here before the stage, and this is going to put in an interesting scenario where he will most likely be our leader once this is out. And there it is, caution. So Jason Finsler utilizing that strategy there to pit as the caution is going to come out.
Already strategy, we mentioned it earlier. He undercut the stage brake, decided to come in for tires and fuel early, possibly putting him out, like you said, Zach, in the front. Do you think 2 tires is effective? Do you need just a 4-tire stop for the rest of this race?
Oh, this has got to be 4 tires. 2 tires is just it's just going to make the car drive really weird to have, grip on one side of the car compared to the other. Just with it being a road course, you really probably don't want to try something like that. It's a tough situation, but at the same time, it's the call that you got to do is take 4 tires, in my opinion, when you come down here. But we'll see what they do. Jason Finsler, though, like I said, he made the call to come down that lap. And before the stage caution, he felt like he had enough gap. He gets 4 tires and fuel, able to stay on the lead lap. And now he's just pacing around. There's no damage being done to these tires. Yes, just a little bit, rolling around the racing surface. It will have a little bit of friction. But personally, he's going to be in a good spot to start with the lead. The biggest thing for him is he's going to have to keep his consistency in check because he was really, really struggling to start that race.
Consistency, there's that word again. Just as here's Trevor Earhart, we get ready to go in the pits, getting ready to the pace car. But how many of these drivers you think are going to stay out, maybe split it? How much fuel is in these cars? Can they make another couple laps, or are they right there at that E mark?
I think they're very close to running out, personally. The big thing is going to be if they can make this last run, is my question here. If they're close, Jason Finsler for sure is not going to make it. He's already 4 miles behind them in the fuel mileage category right here. So this is a very interesting track for the fuel mileage just due to how long it is. So right now, Earhart, he'll be the first one down here, but I don't believe pit road's going to be open this time. Yeah, as they're still catching up to the pace car. That's what's going to make this very interesting is because they'll catch up to the pace car. Now they'll do another pace lap and then come down, and then we'll have probably another one. So I think they'll have enough fuel. Jason Finsler, though, he's going to be the one that's the most worried about fuel mileage in this scenario, trying to make it down to the end of the race.
And there is definitely no fuel saving on a track like this. You're in and out of the throttle on the brake. You're trying to get the best lap possible. So yeah, excuse me, the fuel is going to be difficult, and it's going to be interesting watching these drivers try and drive around each other, and then seeing Jason Fensler in front. That's going to make some people's hearts sink there a little bit.
Yeah, I think it definitely will. I think Trevor Earhart's going to say, man, how did he get all that track position all of a sudden? But I think he'll figure it out very quickly how that all worked out. But I tell you what a race it's been so far in stage number 1, as Trevor Earhart is your stage winner. Justice Murphy was able to bring home second, Christopher Heights third, James Loveland fourth, Alan Bargain Quest fifth. It looks like Nick Alves will be sixth, Grant Thorpe in seventh, Matt Jobe eighth, Peyton Presley ninth, and Jacob Sekovich in 10th there to round out your top 10 in stage number 1. But after these guys all get their pit service done, we're going to go to a quick commercial break here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and we'll be back in a few here after they hit pit road.
want to be the best, you can't sit.
Freaky Fast Broadcasting is brought to you by ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. You can head on over to ButtKicker.com and use our promo code FreakyFast20, that is Freaky with 2 E's, to get 20% off of any purchase there at ButtKicker.com. ButtKicker, feel what you've been missing. Thank you for being a proud sponsor here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But we're back here, ladies and gentlemen, at Road America with the Underdog Racing League with some playoff action here at the road course. And right now, big implications. We talked about Jason Fensler being able to jump the field most likely by coming into pit road that one lap earlier in the stage. Did not play out that way, did it, Carl?
It did not. He got caught behind, and that pit delta did not work in his favor. He wasn't close enough to the leaders when they all pit on their caution lap to make that work, so I think he decided to try and top off and make sure he can finish this run on fuel.
That'll be very, very interesting to see here if he does decide to come down. Didn't elect to do it that last time, so we'll see. Right now in the 14th position, not many positions he can give up, and I would be worried about fuel if I was him from where he pitted. So I would probably elect to come down here and top off if I was in his shoes, but we'll see what he decides to do here. This could, we're already seeing he had a 20-point gap back to James Loveland, who he got fourth in the stage. That was good points for him, able to close a little bit of that gap down. But if Jason Fensler continues to run back here in the top 15, right fringe of the top 15 and there on the back ends of the field, this could be a huge point gains for the rest of the field, and this could open up the whole entire game when it comes to this championship battle.
Well, feels gonna be huge as we see some of those drivers back there make the run on the pit road, maybe to do a top off. Every lap is going to count, and these drivers up front, there's probably not a lot of fuel save going on, maybe a little bit, but not a lot that can be done around here. It could be interesting. Who knows? Maybe these cars up front may not have the fuel, and Jason Fensler may prove once again that just a little bit of luck can get you that race win.
Yeah, this is interesting right here, Carl. I'm kind of intrigued by the amount of people here. Oh, and they extended actually the caution, so this is gonna actually throw a whole nother spanner into the works here. So we're gonna have another lap or another 2 laps around here at Road America. So gonna have a little bit of off time here for a little bit here, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, Trevor Earhart out front right now. This is interesting because Heights hits pit road from the back of the field here, and that is so interesting to me where he pitted from, because that's telling me I think these guys are worried about fuel, and if anything, do more people come and top off next time? I don't know. There is so many possibilities right now with strategy. I mean, if you can make sure you can make it to the end of this race, you're definitely going to want to come in here and top off the fuel tank to get yourself in position for that, because you're not going to make up a whole pit stops distance unless you're someone like Trevor Earhart who's going to have the pace to do that. It's just going to be very tough to do. But Heights was someone who had a lot of pace there. If these other guys cannot make it on fuel, and he's sitting in a position to win this race.
But it's all about that fuel, right? So roughly a lap of caution or 2 laps of caution of fuel roughly equals 1 lap of green flag racing. Another 1 or 2 laps of caution that really helps these drivers in front. So maybe those drivers going down the pit lane, maybe that sealed the deal for them, and that's going to actually maybe make their drive worse to try and get to that front.
It's very possible. Also, Jason Fensler, who pitted the earliest of anybody, he didn't even hit pit road either. So it was an interesting case for him there. That puts him up to 7th. Maybe he thinks we're going to have to make a pit stop. So, for whatever reason, he decides to stay out there instead of come down, because he knows he has to hit pit road at some point anyways, and he can't make it. So a lot of different scenarios playing out here at the moment. But man, oh man, what a time it's been here at Road America, here, one of the great tracks in the United States, and especially the ones that turn right or left. So what a track it is. But if you haven't yet, since we got some downtime here, make sure you go check out our merch. You can go check that link out in our description down here. That's the teespring.com/stores Freaky Fast. There, as you can head on there and get some merch from us, and many other different types of things. Not only just clothes, they got all types of different things there at the merch store Freaky Fast, so you can deck yourself out in your favorite broadcasting merchandise. So make sure you head on over there, to that website and check it all out, as we got some great stuff. And also, not only that, in the description we have our website at Freaky Fast. You can check out our website, and also they have live timing and scoring. A lot of times I forget to bring this up to the fans out there at home. We got live timing and scoring where you can follow your own drivers and see their lap times and see all types of gaps and deltas that they have throughout the whole entire field and when they pitted. It's a really, really cool piece of info we have there in that link. So make sure you go check that out there, and you can check out your live timing and scoring here at Freaky Fast.
It's definitely a cool little tool. You want to be more in depth and have a more feel of iRacing, and want to follow your driver even closer, see what they're running. I recommend check that link out and check us out. Buy a shirt, buy a hat, buy what you want. Support us. You know you love us. Check it out.
Definitely. So check it all out. Ooh, Orlando Jr. He's going to pit from the 3rd spot to come down pit road here. And this right here, and also Nick Alves in the 24 machine, he's going to hit pit road here. I think we're seeing a lot of guys coming here and top off the fuel tanks. I still think people are worried about that fuel mileage. It is 11 laps here to go. When we take the green flag, it's going to be 10. We've seen them able to do 11 with 10 with an extra pace lap there before they came down pit road. But I tell you what, they've done a few pace laps here from when they pitted, so it's going to be a little bit of an extra distance. If it was close, it's going to be real close up here. And another thing, road courses are a tough place to save fuel, but you can do it. Especially the track like this that has a lot of hard braking zones. What you can do there is the biggest really thing you can do is what we call lift and coast. Instead of hitting the brakes at your normal marker on the track, you're going to lift about 100 feet earlier and roll and use the engine braking of the car to actually slow you down instead of the brakes of the car. And just by being out of the throttle virtually, you're using less fuel. So lift and coast is going to be these guys' best combat against that fuel mileage. But I tell you what, it's still very tough here at a track like this to save some good amount of fuel.
And 100 feet doesn't sound like a lot, especially when you go on 150, 160 down the straight, but you do that for 14 corners for the next 10 laps. That equals a huge amount of fuel you can save. And in these cars, this is a game of inches. Yeah, this is a 4-mile track, but it all comes down to those couple of inches of the finish line, whoever crosses there first. So this is going to be huge. And, Kevin Orlando Jr. pitting from the 3rd spot. Maybe he didn't think he had the fuel, but here we are. Trevor Earhart's and Justice Murphy up in front, not pitting. Maybe they have fuel saved, maybe have a little bit of something stuck up their sleeve, but I think overall track position is king, Zach.
Yeah, I definitely feel that way too, Carl. Track position is definitely king when it comes to road courses, and this is going to be fun to watch, just really due to the fact that Jason Fensler getting the jump all the way up to 6th. This has definitely put some new contenders up here. Murphy was so quick to end that run there. Just really quicker than our leader, Trevor Earhart there. If he can just stay closer this time, he may be able to have a threat to the back of this 25. And also the 56 level, and he traveled from 13th to 4th. So we'll see what he has once we re-rack them all back here together and see if he has something for these guys. Maybe has a little more tire left after not having the battle. And also got to give a shout out to Grant Thorpe there in the 4th position, running a great race. So really some good strategy from some guys to get themselves up here. But drivers I'm really looking at to make their way back up through is Christopher Heights there. He's back in 9th. He did that top off strategy. We'll see if he has the fuel to make it to the end, while the rest maybe have to pit. We don't know. It's a big mind game going on right now out here at Road America.
And remember, the driver there in 10th, Kevin Orlando Jr., he dove off from 3rd to take that strategy. So those drivers will be kind of racing each other all through the rest of this next run. But we have 4 drivers in the top 6 that are in the playoffs. We have Jason Fensler, James Loveland. Looks like they're going to go tail to nose on this restart. So this is going to be really interesting going into turn 1. James Loveland needs a good finish, needs points to maybe crush that gap from Fensler. But Fensler just wants to keep that cushion and not necessarily cruise, but definitely stamped his way into the final race of the playoffs.
It's going to be wild to see here at the Underdog Racing League Road America playoff racing action. We're about to re-rack them, restack them here at Freaky Fast Broadcast and get the green flag, as we're going to have 10 to go here. Playoff implications, playoff racing here at Road America in Wisconsin. It's almost time. Pace car is going to take the right-hand turn down to pit road. We're going to climb the giant hill here at Road America as we head on down to the start-finish line. Earhart's going to get on the gas early as we get the green flag here at Road America. 10 to go here, playoff racing at this 4-mile circuit.
Trevor Earhart shooting out of a barrel, getting that laid comfortably going into turn 1. James Loveland giving the bumper a little bit to Justice Murphy as Grant Thorpe goes to the inside of James Loveland going into turn 1. They are still side by side coming out of 1, going into 2. They are not looking like they're giving an inch, but James Loveland may be cracking just a little bit as we ride along. It looks like Christopher Heights trying to get inside Presley, and just getting a little loose there. But man, they are driving hard early in this run.
Everybody going for positions here as we ride on board the 21. He's going to head down to the hard braking zone, crosses back over to the left side of the 11 of Peyton Presley. He's going to break down hard into turn 3 to try to make the passes. Presley comes back about on the outside. The 21 makes the pass here. Christopher Heights is everybody trying to move on through. One of those drivers, Jason Fins, are already up to the top 5 behind, or top 4 behind James Loveland. As Grant Thorpe and Parker Johnston go off the racing circuit there down into turn 4. It's all transpiring here at Road America on this last restart.
And just like that, Christopher Heights looks like he's going to be 5th, 6th possibly. Jason Fensler in front of him with James Loveland. So he is not saving at all, and he looks confident that he has enough fuel to end this run and finish this race.
We will have to see. That is going to be the beauty of this run here. Who has the fuel? Who can make it to the end? Nobody really knows up here in the booth, so we're going to ride along with you fans here and figure it out as we go to see who elects to pit first. But right now, Fins are stuck behind the 56 of James Loveland, who's had a great run here tonight to make his way to the field. These are our top 2 in points. You know Loveland, he's going to make it hard on this 5 here to get by. He does not want to see that 5 machine get any more points up on advantage on him.
And all the top 5, top 6 are all playoff drivers. The cream of the crop is definitely risen to the top, and it's fun to see these guys battling. Jason Fensler trying to get a run on James Loveland, but Loveland looks fast as he takes that corner just a little wide. Fensler with a run down the front stretch, going up the hill to the start finish. He's going to turn right. He's going to get a run. He's going to get that inside line going into 1. Looks like he's going to make this pass. He's going down the hill. Going into turn 1, he makes the pass nice and clean around Loveland, almost like he was sitting still. Makes that pass for 3rd place.
That's the beauty of that long straightaway there. You get a bad exit, you can set up a pass on a driver in front of you, and boom, there goes Jason Finsler up the 3rd on his way forward. He's going to try to do everything in his power to run down these top 2. He's had the pace. He qualified on pole, made the mistake on lap 1. Does he have enough in the gas tank, though, to make it to the end as Trevor Earhart's trying to storm away? You know, he's got to be looking back in his mirror. This right here, personally, you know, this is going to make Trevor feel a little bit more worried when you look back in your relative and you see, oh, man, there's that guy that qualified on pole and who messed up in front of me early in the race and didn't really have to worry about him the first run. And now I got to worry about him as we're looking at our lap time. As the first representative lap time would be that lap 16 right there, as that was their first lap up to green, and the next lap's going to really tell us a lot about the pace difference between these two, as I really see Jason Finsler closing the gap down on Justice Murphy, as it's only down to within 4 car lengths.
And this is going to be interesting because we know Jason Fensler has the speed. Obviously, he can make that pass. He doesn't have, or he used a fast repair earlier, but he's back up front, and you know he's made that mistake earlier. I think he's learned, but I think a heartbreaker. Kevin Orlando Jr. We mentioned he pit from 3rd during the stage break, and he wanted to get some fuel. He has not gotten anywhere. He's stuck in 13th right now, which is really unfortunate for him. As we watch Trevor Earhart go through the kink and around there, but yeah, Jason Fensler catching Justice Murphy rather quickly.
Everybody trying to make up time here, late get going. We're going to be coming to 8 to go here at Road America. It is crazy to think this race has flown by in a blink of our eyes here as these guys continue to put down burner laps. Here comes Trevor Earhart down to the final corner. He's trying to open up the gap. We'll see the lap time difference here this next time by here as they head up the hill and see what Trevor Earhart can do compared to the 5 of Jason Finsler, who's kind of got stuck once he's got within 4 car lengths of that 9 of Justice Murphy. And there you'll see Trevor Earhart fastest lap time of the race for him there, a 2:16.005. And that right there is about 1/10 quicker than Jason Fensler.
And that's impressive. You know, he knows he's in third. He wants to get that run, but you know, being able to turn on the speed, and keep the grip, and hopefully keep the tires all in one piece is also a huge deal. We haven't seen many mistakes out of Trevor this run, and Jason Fensler looks like he's balanced out there behind Justice Murphy. So maybe the tires are balanced out, and they're ready to see what we got for the rest of these races. We have 8 laps to go in a 25-lap race. This is going to be fun to watch, Zach.
It is going to be fun right now to see who could get it done here tonight at Road America. Such an important playoff race this is. You know, one of the oddball races here of the playoffs, you know, somewhere where you can really make up that points gap in this 5-race, all points, you know, showdown really between the top 11 drivers. We would say top 10, but they had a tie, so we have 11 actual playoff drivers here. As we were already at Michigan last week, as James Lovell was able to win there. Here tonight at Road America, Trevor Earhart trying to stamp his way into the winner books of the playoffs. And then we'll have 3 more races left to see who can have the most points by the end of it all. We'll have Daytona, the Nashville Fairgrounds, and Las Vegas Motor Speedway, 3 completely different circuits. And I tell you what, I think leaving here tonight, possibly it could be a very close points battle with some of these guys getting stage points on the upper hand of Jason Fensler.
And with all these tracks that are different, you have Daytona, Vegas, all these tracks are extremely different in all their different ways. So definitely a way to test the drivers, test their skill, test the cars, but definitely a way to test their consistency and being able to see who can do the most when the pressure is applied. As we see as we run along with Justin Earhart, we can see Fensler there in third, just can't make any ground up on Justice Murphy, and this is going to be interesting to watch. People fast here, you know, the top 5, yeah, some of them are the ones we're used to seeing, but not quite. Justice Murphy's had a little bit of a rough run this past couple of races, so this is fun to see. But going to Daytona next week, we all know that's a wild card, and it is anyone's game when we go to Daytona. Yeah,
definitely anybody's game there at that 2.5-mile circuit. But I tell you, oh, Jason Fensler off the race surface, and he wrecks it. Oh, man, again, a huge mistake from our points leader as he's going to try to get it spun around. And I tell you what, too, what he's doing right here, this is using fuel mileage. You definitely don't want to be sitting still at a racetrack like this. That's just burning extra fuel, and if he does have a fuel issue, it's only going to get worse now as he is going to get it spun back around behind the 3 of Jacob Sekovich. That's going to put him right now in the 8th spot, and what a mistake that was. That's going to push him back from 3rd to 8th. James Loveland now up to 3rd. This is huge for the playoff standings, and you know, we were talking about Justice Murphy, the 2nd place driver. He entered tonight in the 11th position in the playoffs. So really needing a good night is Justice Murphy, and he's had a strong night at that, getting 2nd in the stage. Right now, 2nd overall with 7 to go. He was really quick the end of the last run. We'll see if he can put some pressure on this 25. We may be looking at Justice Murphy's first win or Trevor Earhart's first win of the season. These two been lights out all night long.
And this is huge for points. Jason Fensler came in, Zach, you've mentioned 20 points ahead. He did not get any stage. Well, I think he maybe got a couple stage points, but I'm not sure about that. It looks like he's going to finish back there too. James Loveland up to 3rd. That's going to be huge. Justice Murphy up in 2nd. Oh, this is going to really shake up the playoff standings going into Daytona. How would it be for Jason Fensler to be almost in a must-win situation going into Daytona?
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, if they build a lot of points here tonight, he has a mistake at Daytona, the points could shift into the favor of someone else. We could see a new points leader at Daytona for the first time really all season long, other than maybe really the beginning of the season where Walterman won at Daytona. So really going to be interesting, but man, 5 weeks is you know, it's a, you know, not a major amount of time. You know, we're used to, like, when NASCAR did it, for example, the chase for the championship was 10 races. That's half of it. So 5 races to see who has the most points by the end of it will be your champion. And Jason Fensler coming in here tonight with that 20-point gap. It was going to be tough for anybody to make that up unless he had major mistakes. And here tonight at Road America, it seems to be the track that has been him, as right now sitting in the 7th spot behind the 6 of Jacob Sekovich.
As we're watching the 21 of Christopher Heights trying to make a move on James Loveland, I think Heights has been a little bit faster these past couple of laps. James Loveland does need those points, but how much is he willing to fight for third with another playoff driver right behind him? I don't see him. Oh, as he makes a mistake, he looks like he goes to the inside. Christopher Heights makes the pass. That could be interesting going forward, because Christopher Heights was that one of those drivers at the very end of the caution break took fuel. I don't think he's saving it all. I don't think he's worried. He's going full on, full forward.
Yeah, I think he has no issues for sure for him, especially if everybody ahead of him feels like they can make it. I'm sure he's feeling pretty confident, and those guys ahead of him, hopefully, he's hoping they have a little bit of sputter, as he's been able to drive all the way back up to third after restart ninth. He's had such a fantastic night, and it's so cool to see that, as you know, Murphy and Heights both entered the night here 10th and 11th in points in the playoffs, and they definitely needed a good night to shake everything around while Trevor Hart leads up front. He is going to be looking possibly to even move himself past James Loveland in the points to be second. So we'll see if he can move from fourth to maybe second in the points after the night's over. But with 6 to go, right now Earhart's still out front with about a 2.3 second gap back to Justice Murphy. You know, that's not a huge gap. If Earhart makes a mistake, Murphy is all over him, man. So it's not over yet. It's going to be a fun battle down to the end as we're watching Nick Alves here in the 9th position.
Nick Alves in 9th. He started in 18th, he started in 9th, so he hasn't really gone anywhere. He's had a solid night, really maintained and just kind of conserved the race and just kept his line. But I think he's one of those guys that maybe wanted a couple points, trying to make that break. And if you have Justice Murphy or James Loveland, Christopher Heights that are behind him, gets little points, I know that could make his point situation a little more stressful moving on.
And right now, also just noticed that Jason Fensler was able to make the positions on the 77 and the 3. So now he's back into the top 5. And, Loveland's got to be, man, what do I got to do to get rid of this guy? Because, the guy wrecks right in front of him. He's like, oh, I'm going to gain a lot of points. And then he looks right behind him. He's like, well, never mind. He's back up to 5th. So great recovery already for Jason Fensler. But we've seen him have multiple mistakes tonight. Maybe he tries to push and catch that 56 here and has another mistake. It's about an 11-second gap up to James Loveland, as it's going to be sizable for him to make that up in 5 laps. But I tell you what, he pushes too hard, makes too many mistakes, he could be out of this top 10 very quickly.
5 laps. If it were racing ovals, if we were turning left, it wouldn't be much. But 5 laps around a 4-mile course, that's 20 miles. A lot can happen. You've mentioned we've seen Jason Fensler make mistakes, but again, an unforgiving track. Anything can happen. Justice Murphy hanging on to about a 2.6 seconds gap from first place of Trevor Earhart. Anything can happen. Anyone can make a mistake, and who knows what can happen at the end of this race. And of course, we always race every lap, and this is the reason why. So we have a lot of racing to go. See what these drivers can do.
Yeah, this is going to be fun stuff to watch. As that last time by too, Justice Murphy was a couple hundredths quicker than earlier. So good stuff on Justice Murphy there to put the pressure on and make that gap his own, as he closes it down again. It seems like he's very quick down in Canada corner, and very, very good through that section of the track where he's able to gain a little bit of time but loses a little bit through the kink there. So definitely a good run nonetheless for Murphy, but the closer he gets, the more pressure you feel as that driver out front, as we're watching a few drivers back here. And this is Ray Lane, who, man, Ray Lane, what a season he's had. He's had so many moments where he could have possibly got a race win this season, had shown a lot of pace at multiple tracks, and even last week at Michigan led the most laps last week, but just did not have the finish to go along with it. So, man, Ray Lane looking to get some momentum build up after we get out of here, because right now not having the greatest night, running in the 14th spot.
And then looking in front of him in 13th, Kevin Orlando Jr. He's hit from 3rd spots, wanted to get fuel at the end of that caution. I think that was a huge mistake. Once again, field position is huge, track position is just massive, and you always want to start as far forward as it looks like we see some smoke going into that corner there. Someone off the track. Who is it? Looks like the 33 of Justin Stunnard, but yeah, you don't want to try and be clever and, outwit yourself and take yourself out of it. Well, that's really unfortunate for Kevin Orlando Jr.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's just hasn't been able to make up any of the ground he gave up there with that strategy. But I tell you what, nonetheless, it was a valiant effort. You never know here. Still 4 to go. It's a long way here. Over 16 miles is a crazy amount for 4 laps, but it's still within the window. If people do start having fuel issues, he could gain some ground on them, as we're looking at Justin Stunner, who's not had the greatest night. Luckily was able to get back on the lap here, lead lap for Justin Stunner after going a lap down in that first stage. Right now running in the 14th position after being involved in a wreck there. Really, I believe it was at the kink on lap 1. So a good recovery nonetheless here to be running back in 14th.
Yeah, definitely. You want to be on the lead lap whenever you can, and that definitely helps. But like I said, he's been loose. He's been around a couple of times earlier when Jason Fensler went around in the kink. We saw Justin Stunner right behind him, so no one's safe around here. But it's good to see him on the lead lap and in 14th, and just trying to finish out a day. Maybe not his best day, but sometimes the road courses they give and they take, and sometimes you just got to get through it.
You definitely do. Just got to get through it. That's the goal a lot of times here at these racetracks. I think that's the plan for a lot of these drivers, is still the gap up front, man. You got to give Murphy credit. He's kept that thing within 2.5 to 3 seconds this whole entire run, and has probably not let Earhart breathe once he's got out to that gap. So Murphy really having the run of his season. So far as I say that, he goes off circuit here. Hopefully going to get it back together, as he's got a nice sizable gap back to Heights, who did have a mistake, I think, about a couple corners back too. So, man, Earhart going to take a breathe, a big sigh of relief here with 3 to go. He's going to have a major gap, almost 6 seconds back to the 9.
And it looks like Jason Fensler down in 5th had an issue too. He's been riding around about 22 seconds behind the leader, but he fell from 22 to almost 27 seconds. Grant Thorpe looking to make the pass again on him. So our leader going into the pits, it looks like. This is just weird. How many times has he been in the pits? What is it, the 3rd or 4th time, Zach?
Well, this right here, I think, is due to where he pitted. He did not think this out thoroughly. Should have topped off at the stage cautions. This is going to ruin his whole entire race. He may be looking to try to get back to a top 10, but it's going to be tough with 3 to go here with the gap that it's building up. He's dropping way out right now. He's going to drop back to 13th. This is all very interesting. I tell you what, too, does this make Trevor Earhart and them worry? He pitted at lap 9 for Jason Fensler there, but those caution laps seeming not to help too much there. 3 to go. We could start seeing some fuel issues.
Oh, that's got to be in your mind. You have this huge lead, and you're doing good. You have nothing but clear track, and you're hearing some of these drivers having to pit for fuel. This is interesting. I don't see how they could have saved anything, especially with Earhart and Murphy kind of balancing out 3 to 5 seconds right now. But I just don't see how they can make it right now. If Fensler had to go, I don't see any of these other drivers being able to make it to the finish.
This is going to be wild to see who can get back to the finish line with fuel and under power. Right now, heading down to Canada Corner. Here's Trevor Earhart. It's going to be 2 to go. And, if he doesn't pit here, then he's going to the end. There is no way he does not try to make it to the end if he doesn't pit here on lap 2. It's just, you're just wasting time at that point. Maybe even, we might even see some guys, if they have to, just take a splash of fuel just to try to gather it all up with the amount of laps are left here. But here comes Earhart out of the final corner. He makes no regard towards pit road. He continues on, and maybe Jason Fensler knew he was only about a lap short. Maybe he didn't go the full distance here. Maybe he knew it was very, very close for him, and that's why he pitted, and he was like, man, I have to pit now to be able to gain any time back. Maybe these guys up front have no issues. We'll just have to see here, Carl. This has definitely put us all on the edge of our seats.
Yeah, at this point, 2 to go. You've made your bed. It's time to sleep in it. It's 100. I guess checkers or wreckers. It may not be take a record to tow it off because out of fuel, but this is going to be interesting. He's coming up on a lap car. I think that's Kerber, maybe. I can't tell, but he's coming up on this lap car. Always scary when you come on a lap car. The narrow track that looks like gives him room. But at this point, yeah, there's no stopping. If you can save, yeah, maybe coast like you said earlier, but there's not much you can do at this point.
Oh man, this is all getting very interesting. Look, the gap too right now is closing down very quickly. I don't know if Trevor Earhart is going into major fuel save mode just to make sure he's all good, But man, 3.7 here down back to Murphy, and it was upwards of 6 seconds a lap ago. Really backing it down here is the 25 Earhart. So we'll have to see here. Man, oh man, you can see even that last lap, he was a second, 1.1 seconds slower right now. So if he continues that pace, he won't be challenged. So that is a good news for him, but maybe just saving a little fuel here, not trying to do, anything extra that needs to be done here to get that first win of the season.
And man, this is going to be huge, trying to save, limp it around the field, but Justice Murphy there eyeing it. Maybe he's thinking of the same thing, but Christopher Heights there in third. I think out of all those top three, he has the best shot of finishing this with the, under power, because he did pit at the very last lap, the last caution. So if anyone can make it, it'll be Chris Heights.
Oh, this is getting so wild here at the Underdog Racing League. Playoffs are heating up. Jason Fensler back and forth. But as we get ready to round through the final corner, Earhart's going to come out of the final corner here, head up the hill. And he's going to be looking up to the flag stand where Barney's going to have the white flag. It is your freaky fast white flag here at Road America for the Underdog Racing League. Trevor Earhart trying to get that first win 4 miles away from it and trying to make up major points here in the playoffs. If you want to be a part of our freaky fast white flag, hit us up on our social medias and you can sponsor our white flag. As we have 1 lap to go here, Carl, in 14 turns. Earhart's trying to get it done. Does he have enough fuel? Who else runs out? Right now, though, looking strong for the 25.
And the 25 is looking great. Justice Murphy might have had an issue coming out of that last corner there, because he went from about 4.5 to 5.5 back. So, of course, people still making mistakes trying to make time. Christopher Heights balanced out. James Loveland about there, 18.5 seconds. So, really, this is, I think, between these two drivers, if they have enough fuel. I don't know if Earhart may be saving, but it doesn't look like he may be coasting a little bit, but he's just trying to preserve it and get it to the end. This is going to be a really interesting finish. I don't think we're going to see a burnout. I don't think there's going to be enough fuel, but if he does make it, that'll be awesome to see.
Yeah, if he's got enough for a burnout, that will be definitely awesome to see, as he's rounding to the course about halfway through. Back to Justice Murphy, about 4.5 seconds is the delta, as Earhart, we know how strong he is on the road courses, and here tonight proves again why he is one of the favorites entering each and every road course we enter. He's a winner at COTA last season in the trucks, and looked very, very strong at COTA in the Xfinity car earlier in the season, but just wasn't able to get it done. But here tonight, it's going to be his time to shine. Maybe his time to shine for the playoffs, too, as we enter the last 3 races at Daytona, the Nashville Fairgrounds, and Las Vegas. He's closing the points gap as Jason Fensler, our points leader tonight. No stage points, and he's going to finish 14th. This has been the night that everyone was asking for, to gain the gap back on that man in the 5 machine, and the 25 is going to have the best shot to gain the most as he rounds out of the final 2 corners here at Road America. Trevor Earhart, what a night it's been. He's going to get victory here tonight at Road America. First one of the season. Trevor Earhart is your winner here at the Underdog Racing League.
When it counts, Trevor Earhart takes the checkered flag at Road America after a 25-lap battle. Our points leader, Jason Fensler, having huge issues throughout the race. Justice Murphy finishing second. Christopher Heights looking to finish third. James Loveland in fourth. We mentioned he was second place in points. He needed a little bit of help from Fensler, so he got it. And finishing fifth will be Grant Thorpe, the non-playoff driver, but he's had some speed early on in the season, so congratulations to those drivers.
And look at this. I don't think Trevor Earhart says, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and burn it down here, down in turn 2, and just get it done with, because, man, oh, man, what a night he's had here to get his first victory of the season. Congrats to that man in the 25 as he was able to celebrate here tonight at the Road America. Man, road course, it was just fantastic to see, and really has opened up a whole can of worms with our points battle, man. This is really shaping everything up to be super interesting. Entering a track like Daytona, what a place to enter with points on the line and all types of championship Man, I really cannot wait to get to Daytona next week after we just had this point shakeup. It's really livened up this whole playoff battle.
A lot of those playoff drivers know that they have a chance at Daytona and they're going to be really hungry. They know Jason had an issue this week. Daytona next week is going to be very exciting racing. Always is bumper to bumper, drafting, bump drafting. Who makes a mistake first? And then, of course, strategy. Cannot wait, Zach.
That we cannot wait for up in the booth. But I tell you what, it looks like we're going to give a little bit of time here to see if Trevor Earhart can make it back up here and get some celebrations going on here at Road America 4 miles. And, you know, hey, he had enough lap to do enough fuel to do a whole nother lap. And, yeah, I'm starting to think Jason Fensler was just a little bit short. He was just that a little bit that he needed to make it to the end. So he finally bit the bullet and said, I'm going to come down the pit road here and get the fuel that I need. And it's going to end up to really bite strong to him tonight as he starts on pole and is going to finish 14th. But the man of the night and the man of the hour is Trevor Earhart in his 25 machine, the pink banner and spoiler to represent that he's in the playoffs. And what a time to win here for the first time in the season during the playoffs when you need the points the most. Heading up here onto the hill, Earhart going to look to celebrate here up at the start-finish line at Road America in Wisconsin at one of the most famous road courses in all the United States.
There he goes to burn it down. I'm glad I was wrong. He was able to have enough fuel not only to finish the race, do a pace lap, and here he is at the start-finish, burning it down for his first win of the season. Quite possibly one of the most important wins of the season for really anyone.
That it could be being, when we look back at the championship, this could be a defining race, not only for Trevor Earhart, but for Jason Fensler and a lot of other drivers involved here tonight. Is that James Lovely going to come here and burn it down with him? Two buddies there happy about his buddy winning here. Is James Lovely is, man, oh man, what a night we've had here at Road America. We're going to be back in a few moments here, ladies and gentlemen, as we get our top 3 drivers up here to have a chat with them about their battle here tonight at this 4-mile road course. We'll be back in just a few. All right, we are back here, everybody, at Freaky Fast Broadcasting after a wild race here at Road America with crazy playoff implications. We got our top three up here in the waiting room waiting to talk to us. First man up's our third place finisher, Christopher Heights. Let's hear from him on a well-fought battle for a top three here tonight. Hey, Christopher, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Hey, what's happening? Sorry.
Hey, no, you're all good, man. Great run here tonight, Christopher. Man, I tell you what a way to help yourself out here in the playoffs with a good run here tonight. On not only getting third, but getting third in that stage, man. How does that feel to come out of here to Road America with some really good points?
Oh, it was great. I definitely needed the points. The practice session yesterday, we were having fun. The cars handled completely different today, but it was definitely good to have a top three. Definitely excited for Trevor for the win and Justin for second place. We the three of us pretty much took off to the beginning of the race, and it was a good battle. And then towards the end of the race, getting stuck behind traffic kind of sucked for me.
Yeah, definitely. You hit pit road there to top off, it seems, with fuel. How close was it on fuel there? Because that was something we were kind of concerned about also.
When we were doing pace laps, it said literally like 0.5 for on my car. So I topped off, and then once we got out, we extended the pace lap. So it probably wasn't really necessary.
Well, that's unfortunate for your case, man. But you're able to drive it back up to third nonetheless. Get you, like I said, get some good points here. Also with Jason Finsler, the points leader who really had the big gap over the whole entire field in the playoffs. He misses stage points and misses out of the top 10, finishing back there in 14th tonight, having an off night for him. So it's a big gain for a lot of you guys that were really up there far in the stage points, man. Now we head off to Daytona, where you were our last winner at a plate track at Talladega, man. That's got to feel like a really good setup for you heading into next week.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for the super speedways. I always seem to do decently well there, minus the last 5 laps of certain tracks. But hopefully things will work out good and be able to talk to you guys next week too.
Well, that'd be awesome to see, man, and good for yourself for sure. But I tell you what, Christopher, congrats on third here tonight, man. Before we let you get out here, as always, anybody want to send a shout to?
Definitely want to shout out to you guys for broadcasting. You guys do an awesome job. Justin and Trevor and all of them with the running the league. Obviously wouldn't be possible without those guys. Justice and Trevor for running the top 3 clean. Definitely want to thank my fiance. She lets me still do this shit. Still do this stuff and puts up with it. So, and definitely the guys at RJ's and Sauhegan for the sponsor stuff.
All righty, Chris. You have a great night, man, and we will catch you next week in Daytona.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
All right, that was our third place driver here tonight. Christopher Heights in the 21 machine as he was able to bring it home third here at Road America. But the driver who finished second in the stage and second here to end it all up at tonight at Road America was Justice Murphy here, entering tonight 11th in the points. Good points run for him here. Let's talk to the 9 machine about his run here at Road America. Hey, Justice, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
I got you, buddy.
Well, I tell you what, Justice, what a run it was for you tonight, man. Able to really keep yourself in the battle throughout this whole entire race, man. Started up in that 4th position and, it ended up in 3rd after Finsler wrecks early, and then you're able to get that 2nd place in the stage and then end up 2nd at the end, man. Really keeping the pressure on your heart there all the way down to the end. I mean, what a race it was, man. Kind of take us through your night.
Yeah, the conditions from practice yesterday was a little cloudy, so we got in here. It was a little hot, slick, which myself and my teammates have been practicing all week, kind of in the hotter conditions. So when we got in here, I felt like we were super prepared, and it showed kind of with qualifying. And then, Jason unfortunately looping it early kind of set us all up to gain some points. So hopefully that bodes well.
Yeah, that was definitely the big next thing I was going to bring up. The great stage points for you tonight, finishing 2nd in the stage, and then get 2nd place, the finish here tonight. You entered here 11th in the points here after, a tough opening race there at Michigan, man. I mean, this has got to be a good momentum builder and a great night, especially like you said with Jason not getting the stage points, finishing 14th. This is a huge, amount of points gained really for everybody in the playoff standings heading to Daytona where it's going to be wide open, man. How do you feel about going into there next week?
I don't think you can ask for anything better than going in there with everybody with a shot to gain a lot of points and also a shot to lose a lot of points. You can just as easily finish last as be up there in the top 5. So hopefully just keeping the car clean, just like we did today. Kind of got off the grass a couple times, but was able to keep it straight, which is a big key around here.
That it is, man. Keeping it on course is one of the main things for sure at Road America, and you did a great job of it all night to bring that 9 machine home in second place here at Road America, man. So congrats on that, Justice. Before we let you get out here and go celebrate with your team, man, anybody you want to send a shout out to?
Yeah, just want to send a shout out to you guys. Great job with the broadcast from week to week, and just like everybody else, kind of a shout out to the admins, man. They do a lot of work behind the scenes, make sure these things go off without a hitch. And my teammates, all 3 of us, finished in the top 10 tonight, and then Grant, who's a friend of ours, also got top 10. So feeling good, and hopefully we can repeat that feat next week.
Well, man, best of luck to you at Daytona, Justice. Great run here tonight. Hopefully we're talking to you there again, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right, everybody. That was your second place driver of Justice Murphy here tonight in the 9 machine. What a drive it was for him to get second after ending tonight 11th in the points. The last of the playoff drivers. I'm sure this is a big momentum in a flick of a switch for him because he was a driver who in our regular season very consistent up front a lot of times, just had a bad opening race. And luckily tonight he's able to gain a lot of points from his finish here at Road America. Now we're going to move on to the driver who's got his first win of the season. I'm sure he's going to be super happy. One of the road course ringers, I would say, here at the Underdog Race League. Let's talk to our man, Trevor Earhart, in the 25. Trevor, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
I do. How's it going?
It is going great, buddy. I tell you what a night it was for you in that 25 machine. Pretty much a max points night here for you in that 25 machine. Coming here 4th in points, also only 28 back, or 28 points back from Jason Fensler. That looked like a sizable margin. But after his big, race here tonight, really going the wrong way for him, things have shifted into your favor, my friend. Before we get into the point stuff, just take us through the race because, man, you were methodical all night and kept that track position and kept that 25 out front.
That was the key to it. It was just keeping it on the track. I ran practice Tuesday night with everybody and just basically focused on qualifying laps. And then today for the practice session, I ran a full fuel run just to get a feel for what the car would do, what you needed to do in the braking zone, in the acceleration zones when you got back on the throttle on older tires. And I don't think I could have run a more perfect race than what I just did. That was, I don't think I put a tire in the grass apart from the caution lap when I was trying to communicate some things. But what a run. Happy. It's finally, monkeys off the back, finally got the first win of the season after some just stupid mistakes throughout the season. Daytona road course made a mistake. Coda made a mistake. Bristol, wrong move. Sped at the pits at Texas. Michigan, wrong pit call. Zach, we finally did it. We're in victory lane.
Well, man, I tell you what, you definitely are in victory lane here. And I tell you what a timing for that victory lane. Like I was talking about the points, man, this is the playoffs. Second race of the playoffs. It was a sizable gap. Jason Fensler, with all the wins he had this in the regular season, he built up a really good cushion. But tonight, that cushion kind of got tore up and thrown out the window. We're going into Daytona now, man, with a lot of drivers going to be close in points. And I think you're probably most likely going to vault yourself somewhere around that, either at second or third position in points and be at a somewhat good striking distance. Especially with the 3 tracks we got coming up, man. It's kind of house money for you. How do you feel?
Feeling good. Daytona is obviously going to be a wild card race, super speedway race, and you never know what's going to happen. So the goal is to get as many stage points as we can, but also not get taken out in a wreck and be there at the end for that one. Nashville Fairgrounds is a short track. I know Jason's going to be quick there, so just a good finish there will be good. And then off to Vegas. I feel pretty good about Vegas, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm not gonna lie, I had Road America circled on my calendar when we got to the playoffs, so I'm glad I was able to get the result.
Well, man, you could put the check mark on that circle now as you got the win here tonight in that 25. Like you say, able to bring home that first victory of the season here and at such an important time here, closing out the season. 3 races to go. Man, it's going to be fun to watch you guys battle all the way down to the end. And now the points have definitely got a lot closer up front. So we can't wait to see that. But before we let you get here and go celebrate with your team, Trevor, anybody you want to send a shout out to for your win here tonight, man?
Shout out as always to you guys for the great broadcast, the league for putting on all the great races. These playoffs coming down to it, they're going to get wild. It's going to be fun to watch. All my friends and family back home or at home that are watching right now. Bank of Oklahoma, the Earhart Group, Bogey in the Weeds, all those guys jumping on the car, helping out as always. And shout out to my grandmother. It's her birthday today. I called and talked to her earlier. She said she was going to be watching, so glad I got to bring home the win for my grandma on her birthday.
That's awesome stuff, man. Well, I tell you what, congrats on the victory here tonight, Trevor. We'll catch you at Daytona next week, buddy. Hopefully, you never know, maybe in the same position.
I'm hoping so. Thank you, guys.
All right, everybody. That was your race winner here tonight, Trevor Earhart. And what a time it was to win here at Road America to get his first win of the season here at the Underdog Racing League. Ah, man, got to feel for that guy and feel great in the position he is here as he circled this race and he got the check mark here tonight as he's going to win it. As we look at our official results, you see there Trevor Earhart up on top. Justice Murphy going to bring it home in that 9 machines in the second position. Christopher Heights going to bring it home in third after a good run. Fourth's going to be James Loveland, our winner from last week at Michigan. Fifth's going to be Grant Thorpe as he brings it home in the top 5. Great run for him. Sixth's going to be Parker Johnson from the back to 6th. 7th's going to go to Nick Alves. 8th's going to be Matt Job. 9th's going to be Peyton Presley. And rounding out your freaky fast top 10 is Jacob Sekovich in the 3rd position. As we look through the rest of the field here, man, some playoff drivers having a rough night here, and that 4 of them really stick out to me. There in the 11th spot, you got Ray Lane, and then back to 13th, you got Kevin Orlando Jr., Jason Finsler, probably the biggest one of those back there in the 14th position after starting on pole, and then Dylan Walterman 9 laps down in the 17th position. Just a tough night for him there in that car as he entered the night 3rd in the points here in the playoffs. So, man, just a wild night overall for the playoffs. We have got a lot of action coming up here in the next 3 weeks that I cannot wait to see happen after we get those points updated for next week. So, man, Carl, I tell you what, it's been a fantastic night of racing here at Road America, man. Any final thoughts from yourself before we get ourselves out of here and head off to Daytona next week?
You know, you usually think about Daytona race next week as, you know, one of those races that mix it up. But Road America really shown today and really shown what these drivers can do in the different disciplines that they're really good at. Congratulations to Trevor Earhart. That makes the race at Daytona just wide open for just about all the playoff drivers to make that big of a leap into the playoffs. So this is going to be a huge run going into next week.
That it will be. It's going to be fun to watch all of that as we head off into Daytona next week. Make sure you miss none of that action here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting as you can hit that subscribe and bell notification button down there below our video as that'll let you be notified each and every time we go live here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Not only on these Wednesday nights, but every other night we broadcast as we bring action most nights of the week, and you're definitely not going to want to miss out on any of that here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting because all of our action is some of the greatest in iRacing, I'll tell you that much for sure. So you definitely don't want to miss out. So make sure you hit that subscribe and bell notification button. And if you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up button to let us know you enjoyed the show here tonight. But I tell you what, one more thing before we head out here tonight, we're going to send it up to our producer, Robert Moyer Jr., to close out tonight's broadcast as always here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Great action-packed calling here tonight at Freaky Fast. As always, from Carl and from Zach Hall. Great calling, guys. Well, congratulations to that 25 team there. He worked all year. You heard it in his interview. He had his ups and downs at every track. Wrong calling, wrong pitch strategy. You name it, it happened. You know what, though? It finally happened tonight, and he finally gets that victory and gets that monkey off his back for this season here in the playoffs. He is a playoff driver, and like you guys said, Jason Finsler finishing 14th position. That is something that everybody's going to have to pay attention to the next couple weeks here. As you guys said, we are heading to Daytona next week here with the Underdog, and that's anybody's crapshoot. That everybody knows what I call it here. Freaky Fast, to me, that is just a crapshoot. Anybody can win it. We don't know. Jason Finsler could get it caught up into a big wreck. Stage points are going to come into big key next week. So, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be very interesting, ladies and gentlemen, to see exactly where these points layouts, after tonight here. So make sure you do hit that subscribe button and bell button and stuff like that. So next week when we go live at Daytona, Florida, here with the Underdog Racing League at 8:30 Eastern, you get that notification and you can come in and see where the points standings lie and see if James Loveland added up, got closer, and the 25 machine, and just everybody in general that's in the playoffs on that number 5 machine. But with that being said, hopefully everybody enjoyed tonight's content. If you did, please, like I said, hit that subscribe button and the bell button there so you get all the notification. And also, if you don't mind, there is a share button here on YouTube. Make sure you share that to your favorite social media platform so all your friends and family and fellow drivers can see this stream and root you on. Don't tell them what the ending is. Don't tell them where you finished at. Just tell them to go back and watch the whole stream. It helps the league out. It helps us out here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and we do much appreciate that. All right, well, our next televised broadcast, everybody out there that is still watching or goes back and watches this replay, will be Saturday night with NISCC Cup Series, as we will see what them guys do when we go live at 8:50 Eastern this Saturday night. And then Sunday we got Sim Racing Unleashed. After having a week off for Halloween, we are back with them guys as they are getting ready to rock and roll on Sunday night at 7:50 Eastern. So make sure that you come out and root us on. Give us a chat in the chat on the weekend for all your sim racing needs. And thank you again to all the proud sponsors here at Underdog and Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and a big shout out to iRacing.com. But with that being said, hopefully everybody has a great rest of their Wednesday night. Have a great Thursday. Don't work too hard. Be safe Friday, and have fun Saturday. And we will catch you Saturday night at 8:50 Eastern. But until then, we want to say here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting to everybody out there, God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.